Luckily, I haven't been watching TSM play recently, so that'll help.
Music. Gotta close out of the basketball game too. Gotta see if is it Vbon or Yabby that did the coin?
I don't know. I've got it on mute on my second monitor because it's my team. These are my boys. Off to a pretty good start, actually.
Alright, sorry about that. I don't know what's going on. We're waiting on a draft link. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Alright. Jeez. They're um the UML streams chat. The last post in it was in September of last year, and the one before that was the last time I casted UML.
Nice.
In August.
Love that. Huge fan. I feel like one of these days, as long as we'll have at least one or two people in chat who would recognize it, if we ever end up with the same players or the same teams occasionally, we should open the stream with from the team that brought you Filbert the Wise's. What was the name of his? What did we always open that stream with?
Pablo something. That was just.
I'd have to go back to the lore. I don't even think I'm in that Discord anymore.
I am. Do they have the lore channel still?
I think so. They should.
Oh, here it is. In the adjacent temporal cacophony, before the birth of Filbert the Wise, before existence, there lived a creature named Pablo.
Yes. From the team that brought you the adjacent temporal cacophony.
That was a special time in our lives. There's a lot of drafting happening. Anyway, hello, welcome to the Unified Minor League Quarterfinals. I'm Maris, my co-caster's Oath. There's picks happening very quickly, so not going to take too much time on it.
Yeah, this is all just going up. We've got B1 Volibear. The timeline is real.
We took the bear pill today. Yeah, so Return of the Middlesticks is taking on Florida Tech in this best of three quarterfinal to see who advances to the UML semifinals. A lot of money on the line is the real Now I'm stuck with the word temporal. A real temporal stake in this game. Um, they have a guy. I was just looking in the unified chat. They have a guy in their Discord called him Fungus Dungus. I don't know which one
Love
that
that.
is, but that's
Huge fan.
yeah. So yeah, Florida Tech Esports. Their mascot's the Panthers. This is the big research I did. Prior to 1973, they were called the Engineers. That was just their
I
mascot.
kind of like that better.
It's much more unique, right? Now
Yeah.
they're just another Florida Panthers. There's like
Right.
3 of those, right?
Mm-hmm.
Also weird, their initials are just FT.
Oh.
That's it, full stop. They don't have there's no university. The full name is like Florida Institute of Technology, which would be FIT. But they go by FT. That's all the research I've got. That was, I filled like 30 seconds of this draft phase. So we
That's
picked
super well.
We picked 3 Freljord champions. The Volley Bear countered with Trundle Ash, and then Varus and Tom Kench, the lock-in for Florida Tech, and Soraka to round out the first phase for ROTM. Soraka, theoretically a flex pick, can be played at top, mid, or support right now, so that's lovely.
Yeah, huge fan of that. Also, watching this draft is making my brain remember that I haven't watched LCS a whole lot this year, and even then, I still don't really feel like this is particularly standard.
No, so there's no Zeri. It doesn't exist.
Right.
We're kind of off the tier list in terms of bot lane. Realistically, like Ashe is making a big comeback, and Varus always like sticks around just for the CC. But these are not the normal bot lanes that you see. There's no Zeri, there's no Caitlyn, there's no Jinx, there's no Jhin. So kind of interesting that way. And then like the Tom Kench plop down is also kind of weird. Victor is much more normal. This is a very boring standard pick from ROTM, but you know they had to presumably blind as solo laner, so that's what you get sometimes.
Yeah, that seems fair. There are 2 potential solo laners who don't necessarily have to be top from the side of Florida Tech, and they're not going to be because we have Captain Progress himself.
Yeah, Jace from the hit TV show Arcane.
I hate it here.
So now
Matching up against Victor from the hit TV show Arcane.
that's a lore fight, not in the hit TV show Arcane, but in the actual lore, I guess.
Right. Yeah, in the events directly following the hit TV show Arcane.
Yeah, and Mal the Rock Phytamus is locked in for ROTM, so Revnon going to be piloting that into Jace from the hit TV show Arcane.
Do we know for sure that that's actually Malthorok Phytamus? Like, is he building AD, or...?
Probably not. It's probably just regular Chip's dad Malphite, but...
Is that the new one? we're pulling from LOR, that lore game that Riot's lore game that nobody plays.
There is a lot of lore in that game for having nobody play it.
Right. I'm really hoping Hikato isn't around here. He would have heard me say that.
He's busy grieving about how Riot killed his competitive esports.
What a tragedy.
So yeah, again, welcome to second draft. This is playoffs. This is much more serious than we've been letting on, but it's also Friday afternoon, and I literally couldn't give a fuck because I'm off work. So
yeah, same. That is the energy. That right there. It's where I'm at.
Oh, the Shard of the Monolith. That
Oh,
character
how did we
just
forget
gets
that?
that character just gets all the best nicknames, right?
Right? No, that's great. Love that. Oh, I need to start thinking of like what we're gonna do for a prediction.
Oh, I don't know that we have people for a prediction.
Maybe not yet.
Probably not. Maybe for the next couple of games, unless I hear from the chat that we really want a prediction.
I'm gonna go ping a shit ton of people.
But anyway, we are in the depths of this draft, and nice. They went through that really quick. I'm very pleased with these teams. They seem to know what they wanted in draft. They didn't take the full length of time for it, and second draft, they just locked in their champions and they went for it. So that's fun to see. That means that we have less time to kill and watch this screen.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it when teams have their draft. Let's get through this and actually start playing together. Huge fan of that.
Yeah, so let's take just a brief look at these team comps, right? So our team, much more standard team fighty comp. You have the very like obvious go button of the Malphite. You have the obvious follow up of the Ashe and the Victor. You have some pick tools. Um, what does Florida Tech's draft do well?
Um, there are a couple things. There's decent re-engage. You can save somebody from Ashe Arrow with TK, which is probably why they drafted TK. Outside of that, probably a little bit better side laning. LeBlanc is a bit of a wild card character in this team comp because like it doesn't really fit with the rest of the team, but also if you leave LeBlanc to do LeBlanc things, suddenly you're playing 4v5. So you've got a fun dynamic working there. It is just a little less cut and dry of a team fight than what you're trying to play into, like Malphite, Victor, Trundle as a topside trio.
Yeah, definitely some interesting points there. Do you feel like the Volibear needs to get going early? Do you think the Florida Tech comp needs to really come online early on then?
I don't think it necessarily does. You're trying to outscale picks like Victor, which doesn't feel super good, but you don't have like no scaling, and you're playing into Ashe, which isn't the world's most insane hyper carry. So you can definitely get more things done probably early if you wanted to, but I don't think Florida Tech necessarily has to be super scared if this goes late.
Alright, I'm looking up more Florida Tech facts. Alright.
Nice. Here we go.
Apparently their official nicknames are also Countdown College and Missile Man U. Kind of like that. And their mascot's named Pete. It's Pete the Panther.
We stand the alliteration here.
I'm gonna have to look him up. The Panther. He doesn't look like as dead-eyed as a lot of other mascots.
Yeah, there's some vibrancy, for sure.
Like, name also Pete, the Purdue mascot. What is it? Boilermaker Pete, I think is his name. That man just... That is a scary mascot if you ever want to waste some time looking at
the mascot
mascots.
you don't want to see in a dark alley.
Which is weird because you would think of mascots as like, you know, lovable personas for your college, essentially. Is that a sentence?
Yeah, no, for Purdue Pete, it's definitely the eyes.
Yeah, the eyes just... It's too much.
And they decided to make it so that, like, he very clearly wasn't smiling, necessarily.
Well, we did it. We killed the time. Oh, I haven't updated my UML logo. Oh well, whatever. We'll fix that for next time, maybe. Yeah, I have a UAL logo that says Fall 2021 on it. Oh well, hopefully they didn't update that.
Nice. We're just the legacy stream, right?
Yeah, this is what could have been. What? Oh, it's because that logo's in the way. How do I fix this? Oh, the overlay could be fixed. That's sick. Okay. Get up there. Okay. I'm fixing the graphics on the stream. Please hold. If there's anything happening, just let me know. There
Let's
we go.
see.
That looks
No, we're looking at like the world's most standard 5 point.
okay.
Actually, it's so standard that the junglers aren't even mid. Both of the mid laners are just mid in my 5 point.
Get
That's
it
how
out of here.
standard we are.
Well, um, in good news, the red side logos aren't just hanging out in the middle of nowhere. So that means that Riot got back to work this week. They finally fixed that. So
Love it.
congratulations to
That
them.
was only what, a month?
Well, yeah, this whole patch is just one long nightmare, honestly.
Yeah,
Um,
no kidding.
oh god, there's a fire and a firelight. That's rough.
Of
Anyway,
course, next patch we no longer have lifesteal. So
true.
where's the nightmare?
Yeah, and there's a Tryndamere nerf, so it's happy times.
Thank the Lord.
Uh, but in this game, Florida Tech on the blue side wearing the blue health bars and Return to the Middlesticks on the red side wearing the red health bars. This is the first time we've gotten to look at the UML team. So here they are. They're 4-1 on the year. Their only loss was because they kind of trolled their last week pretty hard. So looking to see a lot of good things out of them. They got a bye in the first round of the playoffs, and now they're here facing Florida Tech. Florida Tech beat Northern Michigan 2-1 in their first round, and Firelight just getting the shove in. So Splasher and Firelight trying to push Fire and Chew underneath the tower.
As a caster, I don't I don't like having to like pause mid analysis to sneeze as by way of introducing a player on the team that I'm planning to talk about.
Yeah. So, God, I knew I should have asked. I think it's Bluxy or Blushi. I'm gonna go Bluxy. I think it's a hard X because there's two of them. Um, skipped his Krug camp, and Firelight gonna get aggressed on. Potion guy is here running in his volley bear. Has the flash if he wants to burn it. A lot of damage coming down onto Firelight. He's still holding onto his flash though. Use the heal. Has to flash away, but the auto follows it. Oh no, it doesn't. Never mind. He got first blood. I'm not paying enough attention. Potion guy's gonna fall as Bluxy just beats him with the club. Chu has to flash underneath the tower, and it's 2 kills for ROTM. I thought that auto followed Firelight and killed him, but he knew his health better than I did.
Yeah, that was really close. I think that's actually why he tossed the last Starfall as well to get the healing, because he ended up getting that kill for the first blood. Also, a little bit interested in the fact that Fire still has both of his available summoners. Like he didn't exhaust the Trundle incoming. He didn't flash the pillar. He just sort of died.
Yeah, I'll admit I was so focused on Firelight, I didn't see exactly what happened to him during all of that. And game is paused right now, so I can't go back and look if I wanted. Well, I have the time now, but I don't have the ability. So yeah, banger bot lane gank. Apparently Splasher DC'd during all of that.
Mm,
So
Interesting.
that's a thing that happened, but hopefully won't take too long to get him back in. So what's the game of choice recently, CJ? You've been playing Elden Ring?
I have been playing nothing.
Nothing.
It's such an odd experience. I played my first game of League last night, actually, in the past like 10 days. In the past 7, I haven't even turned the computer in my room on. Like if I need to do anything, it's on my laptop or my phone. It's weird. But
Just
before that, it was Escape from Tarkov.
yeah. I also hadn't played a game in the past 2 weeks before our scrim last night, so that went well,
Hmm.
considering I think 3 of us hadn't played a game in at least a week. Maybe that's the
Yeah.
strat. Unfortunately, we
Right. No, we
ruined
need
it
we
by,
need the
or we have our
break. Yeah.
playoff game tomorrow, but it's an LOR angle. It's a better game. I Uninstalled LOR to make room for Elden Ring on my hard drive. Because I only have so much room on my solid state, and Riot
Hmm.
by default installs on the solid state for some reason. Um,
They do.
and I couldn't change it without changing all of my Riot installation to the other. So that seemed really weird to me, and probably not right, but that seemed like the option it was giving me. So there's no more LOR. I also uninstalled Valorant, even though I don't think I ever played it. I just installed it.
I'm pretty sure mine is still installed, but I'm not really hurting for like space for games. I'm hurting for space in my schedule to play games.
Yeah, I mean, my whole schedule has just been Elden Ring. Um, Solid State is your favorite Metal Gear character. That's fair. That sounds right. Unfortunately, most of what I know about Metal Gear is the Donkey video that's the actual lore of Metal Gear. Um, and also like the memes. And that's about it.
I mean, honestly, you've got a better foundation than like most people just with those because
Well, so the Donkey video is like objectively very good for trying to kind of understand the lore, but like, oh, they're back in. Um,
nice.
nice. But like the memes are just like that guy with like the metal chin, just like thinking, and he's like, I should dip my balls in sulfuric acid, and I don't know why that's a funny GIF, but people use that all the time.
Oh yeah.
I that one's a little lost on me. Normally I can keep up with the memes and the kids, but that one's a little beyond me. But there's like that guy and then the like really buff guy just wearing the suit. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
I don't know anything about those characters, so I'm probably really offending somebody in chat, but
It's probably fine. When do we not end up offending somebody in chat?
how can anyone be offended when we read the lore of Filbert the Wise? Um, anyway, 2-0 for Return of the Middlesticks. They're up a little over, well, about 1,500 gold, roughly. And feeling pretty good. They got the counter pick in top lane. They got the Malphite against the Jace, who is up in CS, which I don't think is supposed to happen early on, but he's doing it.
Probably not. Oh, I've got it. It's perfect. We no longer have to use like Cyber Brazil and Sex Dungeon. Anytime Mordekaiser ults somebody in the games, he sent them to the adjacent temporal cacophony.
That's a little bit more of a mouthful
It's
than
fine.
maybe, but we can go with that.
It's absolutely worth it. Or I can just use that as my name for it in the analysis of the play afterwards. I don't want to like impose upon the comfort of the play-by-play caster.
That's wild. Shout out to Philly B. He's not watching, but shout out to him
Shout out to him.
and Ludi, who might actually be. But that was definitely a time in my life. They apparently just host Sonic Riders tournaments now and nothing else, so they just shut down that Discord basically.
Hmm.
No more League of Legends, only Sonic.
I was a little bit surprised when I found out that that wasn't a meme. Like, how many people can you get to really play Sonic Riders nowadays? Apparently enough to have tournaments.
Yeah, they have like a modding community too. I don't know.
Huh.
DTS is getting chained up. Got the 2 chains, and a solo kill for Pyramid Power.
Yeah, it's both of the summoner spells, but that was pretty clean. Got both the chains. Uh, that rapper is semi-relevant still, I think.
Is he?
I don't know anything about rap.
I I know slightly more than zero, but not like significantly more than that. I knew all of the performers at the Super Bowl halftime show, so
Okay, you're doing
that was
better
a
than
big
me.
mark, and I knew most of the songs that they sang. But that was also like very 90s, very early 2000s. So
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair.
that was like catered to me specifically, um, and it was a banger. To be fair, I really liked something that happened that I didn't talk about at all for some reason. Firelight using the silent circle, I think it's called Equinox is the ability name, to silence Tom Kench as soon as he tries to go in with his dive.
Yeah,
That's a nice little interaction. It's kind of a tight timing, but if he can hit it, that means that this Tahm Kench is basically just an ult, and he doesn't even have that yet, so just not a very useful champion right now.
yeah, no, ult and Q poke, and that's about it. You don't you don't get to do a lot else on that character. Not that that makes it any less annoying to deal with,
Mhm.
but
Yeah, to be fair, those are still good abilities, but not. It shortens his kit by about half. DTS is
we're
having
going
some
again.
trouble in here, yeah. One more auto does it, and Pyramid Power with 2 solo kills now on the LeBlanc. That's going to be difficult to deal with, and DTS even went for the Ionian Boots rather than like a Merc Treads or something more defensive. So I think that this is just going to continue to happen for a little bit until DTS can get his item that prevents that from happening, the crown. Oh, the silence and the pill are going to interrupt the dive in the bottom lane, and this is going much better for our RTM. Splasher hits the Enchanted Crystal Arrow, fire low underneath the tower. Potion guy going to flash in, try to stop the dive, and he will be successful. Blue doesn't quite have enough damage on the Subjugate to finish it off, but they get another kill in the bottom lane, and they force the Summoner spells out of fire as well.
Yeah, no, it's overall a pretty nice play. Fairly positive, even if you don't get any kills out of it.
Yeah, so 2 lanes going pretty well for RTM, the top and the bottom. Not the usual split that you see, but the mid lane going pretty well for Florida Tech. They'll really have to play around this LeBlanc and maybe see if she can move around and get a couple of picks elsewhere. It's interesting. He's pinging his own teleport at 8 seconds. Are they really worried about the dive from Revnon right now?
I'd be a bit surprised about that, but possibly.
But like, he pinged his own teleport to make sure that he can go up and catch his own wave, I guess. But he was about half health. I think he can just stay. Maybe I'm wrong. DTS just trying to fight inside the minions, but they're not doing enough work for him, and he's got to flash away from Pyramid Power. Uh, Pyramid Power has found some really nasty chains so far during this lane phase. This uh, lane not going super well for DTS early on.
No, not particularly. I mean, once you get to a certain point in the lane on the LeBlanc, it doesn't really matter who you're playing against, as a mage at least, especially one as immobile as Victor is. If you land the ability, you win the trade, and if enough of those abilities land, you kill the person. It's fun like that.
I got a big stutter
Very
there. I
interactive.
don't know if you had the same thing. No, I'm just dropping
Mm,
frames. Okay, well, I might be a robot to you. I might be a robot overall. That's a lot of frames. Pour
no,
one out.
you're still coming through Discord pretty clearly.
Pour one out for the 233 frames I just lost. I'm gonna speed up, maybe? Let's see if I can catch up. It doesn't look like it. Chain of Corruption's going to land. Splasher's in a lot of trouble. The heal just not quite enough there from Firelight. And the flash forward into the snipe from Fire is a double kill for the Varus.
Yeah, that time wasn't able to put the Equinox down on the what is the name of that ability? Abyssal Dive. That's right. And DTS is just not having
Yeah,
the time of his life.
DTS now gets a bear in his lane as well. Potion guy is here, and there's nowhere for the Victor to go. Pyramid Power on a killing spree, and now the carry's starting to come online for Florida Tech, and it's flipped the gold back in favor of the Panthers.
Yeah. No, I mean it's gonna be a nightmare trying to deal with this LeBlanc in the mid game. We are getting I can't say I'm particularly up to date on current Varus builds, but this looks like it's gonna be the lethality angle of Varus. We're also getting early tier 2 boots for more CDR. Love that.
Yeah, that looks like an Eclipse as his mythic, which is kind of interesting. I think that
Yeah.
that's up to date. Maybe we're not the best casters. Here we go. Um, I've seen Eclipses. That seems like a good item right now. And
Hmm.
even Dipinator up in the top lane is also going for that. Echu is very dead. That you can't really escape that much crowd control, and when you get your missile dive interrupted, that doesn't go very well. The Chain of Corruption, just Luxie is fine. The healing from the Soraka is actually insane there. DTS is still trying to scrap it out with Pyramid Power, drops the Chaos Storm, the flash away from Pyramid Power into the Q, and that's enough to make sure that DTS wins the trade and burns a flash. Down 3 kills in lane, but still winning trades.
Yeah. No, this time the chain didn't land, and now gets the flash out of Pyramid Power, so there's less aggression to come his way. It's really good for him, actually. Especially being down 3-0, he's kept up in CS.
How does he have his evolve?
I do not know.
His E had the extra. Is it 75? I thought it was 100. I might be going insane. Potion Guy just jumps over the wall with his ult and is going to steal the dragon away from Luxie. So, Florida Tech on the board in that category, and they find just the right timing to get over the wall and nab that one away from Return to the Middlesticks.
Yeah, a bit unfortunate there, but I mean, there's just not that much you can do about that.
Unfortunately, means a Cloud Soul for game number 1. Not the most exciting, but um, some fun champions to use it on. The Trundle benefits a lot from it. The Soraka and Ashe are just kind of funny. So, Bluxy looking for a gank in bottom lane, but is on top of a ward. Gonna get interrupted. That's annoying. But it looks like Fire and Etchu just want to back it anyway. Does he cancel this? Are we getting the double mega bait? Enchanted Crystal Arrow going to land onto the Tahm Kench? Into the silence. And yeah, Bluxy can't quite traverse that distance, so. Now Firelight might be in a little trouble. I guess he's okay. I'm just stream of consciousing right now.
He's just on a stroll.
Yeah. I'm going to stroll all the way up to the mid lane.
That looks like a lot of fun Malphite interaction there. When the full tank with full boots bursts you for a third of your health.
What timestamp are you
at? 14:21.
You're like 2 seconds ahead of me, which is bizarre.
It seems unlucky.
Yeah. Oh, I sped up. Okay, never mind. You should be good. I tried that earlier and it didn't work, but I guess at some point I got a little behind. Because you mentioned the Malphite burst as it was happening. I was like, oh, he's the play-by-play. We're doing this.
I'm the play.
Thank you, Ryan. Bluxy and Revnon looking for the invade. They're going to find Potion Guy. He doesn't have the ult right now, so that's just a free kill with the Malphite ult, the Unstoppable Force, the exclamation point on top, and now the bottom lane Splasher just layering in with the Rangers' focus. They use the Chain of Corruption, though, and it's going to be countered by the Ashe Arrow, so neither DPS can do the DPS at the current moment. And the blue buff going to be taken away on the other side of the map by ROTM. Pyramid Power is just hanging around. Maybe going to look for a pick on the way back in?
I don't think he knows that. Yeah, I don't think he could see it.
He just watched DTS. Now he's going to go in. The chain... Oh, I can't tell which skill shot that was. It looks like the chain's still landing. They're both standing still, but Pyramid Power comes out on top. And now Firelight maybe in a little bit of trouble, able to sidestep the Abyssal Dive. Splasher going forward gets exhausted, still getting healed. He eats up fire just for the shield, and Splasher falls to the burst damage from Etchu.
That is difficult to deal with. You had to blow the Equinox on the charging Varus Q, so you don't have it to stop Etchu from getting in, and then after the exhaust went down on Splasher, they just don't have anything else to follow up with.
Oh, that's super. Etchu first items, Bramble Vest. No mythic in this game. Just gonna go for the Bramble. Which makes sense into the Soraka. I just thought it was funny. Firelight auto-attacked him and then procced his own... God.
Bone plating?
Bone plating, yeah, the resolve thing.
I get it. And there is a fair amount of time being spent. Oh,
Oh, that was a nice little sidestep from DTS. I don't know if he gets out alive. Turret's turned off right now. Should turn back on in just a second, but Pyramid Power has the damage. The Ash Arrow from downtown stuns him up, and it's enough. The tower ramping on Potion Guy that whole time means that it's charged up enough to kill Pyramid Power in 3 hits. So big shutdown goes to Splasher for his first kill of the game, and now Bluxy looking for a little bit more as he chases in and forces the flash out of Echu.
That was such a strange interaction. The arrow just stuns for long enough because it was across like half map pretty much.
Yep. The Ash Arrow, of course, revs up the longer distance it travels, and then hits a maximum at like 3,000 units, which isn't like that far, all things considered. And Tomcat Jolt going to be forced as Revnon still just holding on to that unstoppable force. Could look for a re-engage if Fire steps a little too far forward here. He's even got Flash. Like, this could be a very dead Varus if he gets anywhere within a screen or two of the Malphite. And DTS is going to farm up against the Jace in the top lane. Do you like that little swap from ROTM?
Yeah, I think that's helpful. It's a little easier for him to lane against Jace, and Malphite definitely
Oh,
doesn't have to worry about the one-shot
there's a
potential
lot of things to
quite
talk
as
about, but
much.
first is going to be the Dragon as Bluxy is able to smite it away. DTS went Ludens. Like, I know he's responsible for a lot of damage in this team comp, but I don't think you can get away with that against the LeBlanc, right?
Maybe not. Maybe you're just planning on being such a
Like
such a death ball comp that you don't plan on getting picked.
he has to go Zanya's second item, right? Or else he's just dead the whole game. That'd be my official Bronze 1 read for you. Um, Maybe that's entirely wrong. I'll always put that caveat in. If they rewatch this VOD, they can yell at me. I don't mind.
That seems reasonable. Good policy.
What was the GRLCS thing? My head ass takes? That's what.
Like that
Um,
one actually.
But yeah, 1,000 gold lead for RTM. They grab the mid lane tower using Sheila to break that one down, which is first tower. Oh no, second tower of the game. The bottom lane tower fell. DTS just wins that trade because the chain missed. That's apparently just the only ability that matters in the Victor LeBlanc interaction is does the chain hit?
Which is kind of odd because you wouldn't really peg LeBlanc as like the character that requires somebody to be not standing in place to do damage. Like the Q is targeted, the W has a fairly wide area on it. No, it's the chain.
Yeah. Revnon is just threatening the dive onto Dipinator, but the tower, yeah, didn't matter, so they'll chop that one, get it off the map, and RTM just exerting some pressure around the map. Feels like wherever Revnon is, things are going pretty well for ROTM, which is weird to say about a 1-0 Malphite, but he's also the highest CS in the game, and has basically gotten a free lane against this Jace. DTS has not had a free lane, unfortunately.
ETS is not having a very fun time either.
Yeah,
Like,
he's reverse godlike right now at 0-6.
Pyramid Power has kind of like foregone the standard method of playing League of Legends and has instead focused all time and energy into being exactly where DTS does not expect him to be and then killing him for it.
The thing that's I think most surprising to me is DTS is still up on him in CS, like still 9 CS up on the LeBlanc. Echu is caught; he's very dead. Bluxy is still looking for a little bit more. Hits the pillar, still looking for Dipinator, going through the swirly. Is there an official name for the air current thing?
I don't know. I kind of like Cloud Pocket, but
Cloud Pocket. That's not bad.
it's not particularly official now.
We can.
And I think, to your point, that's actually part of that is because of the way Pyramid Power is playing. Like he's actually foregoing a couple of waves, despite having his opponent dead more often than not, to continue getting these picks. At this point, I'd be surprised if DTS is worth like even half of a kill.
Yeah. Um, DTS is still going more damage. That's not a Zanya's Hourglass second item, so he's going to
No, it's
continue
not.
just
It's Shadow Flame, I'm pretty sure,
yeah.
actually.
So he's going to continue dying on repeat for a while. I so it wasn't so much that he's like, just very slightly ahead of LeBlanc. It's that he's not that far behind anybody else and is in fact ahead of his AD right now in farm. Like he is doing a good job soaking up a lot of the waves and minions on the map, and it's kept him relevant in the game despite being 06, which is kind of a feat in and of itself. Like usually you're 06, that's just game over. Like there's no coming back from that. But he's scaling pretty decently. Gonna get some help here from Revnon as Dipinator maybe tries to go aggressive. No, he's caught in the gravity well. There's nothing for him to do there. And DTS resets his gold count, unfortunately, as he picks up his first kill of the game.
Yeah, I mean, it is good for him to get on the board. We'll see if it continues in that trend or if he's not allowed to play the video game, which is entirely possible.
Yeah, Assault gonna just ping onto fire, means that they'll force the Tom Kent ult. This is a big collapse. There's still a Malphite ult available from Revnon, should he choose to use it. Waiting for that high quality ult, but not going to find it. They're just going to let DTS split push right now, which, I mean, he's soaked up 2 more waves. He's going to beat up most of this tower, and it feels like the macro is actually what's tipping this. Normally you think of college teams and they're maybe not as mechanically skilled, but you watch them and they do the macro pretty well. But it feels like ROTM is just a step ahead so far this game. Like they're behind 1 kill, but they're up a couple of towers, they're up 2 dragons, they're up 3,000 gold, pretty much just as a result of that.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me too much. Oh, DTS. It's okay, they left him alone. About time. As we'll see the top lane tower also fall, but you have to assume that they knew they were outnumbered on that side of the map, I guess, because it felt like DTS should just be dead there. He had no mana.
Right, he had no mana. He's got no defensive items. Like you just can walk and kill him and walk away if you need to. You don't have the most damage there, but it's still Dipinator and Potion Guy. Like that's enough with Dipinator on 2 items. I don't know. That feels like a
Yeah.
weird check down, right? I don't know what the immediate downside might have been Bluxy and Firelight being there, but that's still Trundle Soraka. You trade 1 for 1. I don't know. Bluxy, that's a huge amount of damage from Pyramid Power. Almost able to 100-0 Bluxy, but he's got the Soraka in the back pocket plus the Trundle healing. He's actually just back to full health during that little sequence. No heal cut was applied to him as a result of any of that. Bluxy's still going to walk forward, chomp Potion Guy. They take down Firelight in the back. That might be enough. Pyramid Power dives in, a second kill for Florida Tech, and now the fight really falling apart, but in comes Revnon. That's a big Malphite ult to try to turn this one, but it's just Bluxy and Revnon trying to scrap it out with 4 people. Bluxy doesn't have the health required. He gets shut down by fire, and it's a 4-for-2 win for the Florida Tech Panthers, and maybe a Baron at the end of that.
Yeah, this should be a Baron. Getting Bluxy on the back end of that will almost definitely signal the death of the Purple Worm. I thought for a second Bluxy might be able to pick off 1 more. Got Dipinator really low, but not quite.
Yeah, you could see that fight anytime the LeBlanc cooldowns were up, somebody died. And nobody died other than that. Like, it didn't feel like there was a significant amount of burst damage or even really threat, but anytime the LeBlanc W came up, somebody died on ROTM. And as it turns out, 3 of those is enough to kill 3 people. Who knew? Kind of insane.
Kind of wild. Who could have predicted this, I guess, or something like that.
So I guess what that really means is that you probably need to try to lock the LeBlanc up with all of those pick tools at the start of the fight.
A little bit difficult to do when Tom Kench is hanging around, but yeah, it does definitely seem like that's the priority target.
But, I mean, that was a very scattered fight anyway, so regardless, the Purple Worm plus the extra kills mean that the gold lead swings back in favor of Florida Tech, now at about 1,000 gold in the advantage.
Yeah, and we've already seen quite a bit of anti-healing built up by the side of Florida Tech. They're definitely taking the Soraka into account. Full Thornmail finished up for Potion Guy. We've got executioners and still just the bramble for
Oh, Ashult gonna
Dipinator and
land.
the
They had the
2.
silence circle down, but it's still got the Tom Kench. Now the re-engage happening with that Chain of Corruption, but in comes Revnon from the side, knocking up fire. They're taking him pretty low, and he's gonna be the first victim of the fight. They'll finish off the Volley Bear as well. LeBlanc now coming in from the side, trying to threaten, but the silence zone is enough to ward him away, and the picks. The three of them go to ROTM, and they can march down mid lane for the time being. They know that LeBlanc is on a ward, so this is very free. Rev not even going to tank so that they can keep the minions alive.
Yeah, I like that little piece of tech there, knowing that they've got pretty much all the time in the world, and it also just feels like a little bit of uh,
Oh, Bluxy.
lack of.
That's just
Hmm,
so much damage.
he's
I,
fine. He's fine. A little bit of lack of unity from the side of Florida Tech there. It doesn't feel like they were quite on the same page for that push up in mid, and they get punished for it way more than feels like they maybe should have been at this state in the game.
yeah, the big MVP of that whole fight was a blue ward that was placed at the at the ROTM blue buff. It saw that LeBlanc was over there, and that meant that they were free to engage. As long as they don't get killed by LeBlanc, as we mentioned, they can do pretty much whatever they want in these fights, and they were decisive in that moment, which is really good to see. They get another tower in mid lane because of it, and now they have a chance at Cloud Soul here with 15 seconds before it spawns. It's kind of a risky little check-in. They're going to get the teleport in from DTS into the mid lane that gets spotted. Bluxy just gets chunked over the wall. He's still alive. No, he dies to the ignite. So the shutdown just to start it off, and now Revnon getting wailed on. They reset the fight, now go in with Revnon. Gets the double knock-up. He's just getting chewed through eventually. And now the re-engage again from the Tom Kenches. It feels like Florida Tech has taken this in the correct segments. The damage just isn't quite here from ROTM. DTS trying to find anything he can. The laser kills the LeBlanc clone, and that's going to be the only victim for Florida Tech of the fight as they're able to pick two.
Yeah, that's so unfortunate. Bluxy dies without even getting to pop his ultimate. Like, when LeBlanc's big enough to 100 to 0 your jungler who has Randuin's, granted Randuin's not a magic resist item, but not wholly devoid of defensive stats either.
Yeah, I just question. I don't know that I'm allowed to, but I question some of these builds right now. I just feel like a little bit of magic resist goes so far into what's happening right now. Um, but Blixie still looking for it. The Ash Arrow going to land on to Potion Guy. Blixie's still chasing in. The Chain of Corruption comes out to stall the engage. It's Ghost for a Verisol, which is a trade at least. Anyway, now we're starting to see it. DTS grabs the Verdant Barrier. I really like that. If Bluxy would buy just a little bit of MR, I'd be very happy. Um,
I I called attention to it because I'm really confused by the Randuin's buy actually. Like, you've got a as close to a caster ADC that you're matching up against as you can get, and a non-auto attack heavy top laner as well, both of which are building almost entirely lethality items.
yeah, and dollar for dollar, I'm pretty sure Frozen Heart is the better item. At least it has some health on it, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Anyway,
think
Asher
that's
going to land.
fair.
Tom Kench, not quite in in range now, is able to walk in, able to dive out with the W. Fire survives by the skin of his teeth there. Edshu just able to get in range to eat him, and threat averted for the next 45 seconds until Splash results back up. I really like Firelight went for this Anya second. That gives him a little bit of safety against the LeBlanc. Like, that feels like the right call.
Yeah, I think that's solid. We actually just get finished Banshee's Veil now for DTS, so it more deterrent against LeBlanc than it is against some other mages. LeBlanc kind of needs all pieces of the combo, or she's not quite as threatening.
Yeah, we're getting there. The Abyssal Mask finished up as well for Revnon, which is a fun item. I like that. It also boosts DTS damage just a little bit, which is nice. As it feels like he's just been, one ability shy of almost getting a team wipe in a couple of these fights as well. So there's some right choices happening. I like that, and Yeah, here we go. The Baron Dance number 2 has commenced, and Bluxy is fine because of the wish. It's not quite enough with the healing. So the pick on the jungler right as the Baron spawns means that Florida Tech gains control of the Baron pit and presumably will be able to finish off this Baron in pretty short order. Chain of Corruption is back up, so there's always that threat over the wall. There's really every tool available except for the Ignite on the LeBlanc right now. 6,000 health. They're still just constantly checking with some of these ability. Revnon looking for an opportunity to ult. It looks like they're just going to back up and give it up to Florida Tech. So second Baron of the game falls the way of the Panthers. And once again, it's 1,000 gold lead for Florida Tech. But every time they've been in this position so far this game, it's gone back the other way for ROTM.
Yeah, well, I have to see if that pattern holds true or if they can finally break it. Feels like they're finally at a lot of the item breakpoints that they're really looking for. We got 3.5 up on both carries, some stopwatches coming through, notably one for Pyramid Power, who already wasn't having trouble like surviving these fights due to the existence of LeBlanc and her kit. But speaking of 3.5 items,
Yeah.
Dipinator's starting to hurt a bit.
Oh, the Ashholt not quite going to land there onto Etchu. They're still just going to wail away on him. Not quite enough damage to finish him off. The airy proc. I always love that. The long range banana that gets bigger and bigger. And the airy proc afterwards. Um, but yeah, we've kind of reset around this dragon area. There's 30 seconds to go before another potential Cloud Soul spawns for ROTM. The Baron is still being worn by the members of Florida Tech, though, so they can get a big shove in if they're able to get free for a while. They're going to see LeBlanc on this bottom wave. That's a big moment right now for ROTM. They have a couple of decisions to make. Pillar over the wall, going to land at Chu, gets rooted up, gets stunned, getting chunked through with the Chaos Storm, and he is going to be fine. A lot of
Yeah,
abilities burned on the Tom Kench, and
TK kind of gets to just do that. They're doing the right thing by targeting TK over anybody else because then TK's up to just ult them, but
oh,
ooh.
that was a really nice distortion from Pyramid Power as he's able to get away from the Enchanted Crystal Arrow. ROTM still looking for this. You know, one ult left hits Revnon's. Bluxy's about to come out, and they get the big knock up onto the two carries. Pyramid Power chunked pretty low, but now they have to kite back. DTS gets taken pretty low. Revnon chunked as well. Everybody just limping away with tens of health, and the Dragon going to go to Florida Tech as Potion Guy chomps it down with the smite.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like you can really do that with that many resources
Splasher and
missing.
DTS might
Oh,
be in
boy.
a lot of trouble here. Just not quite the right path, and they're going to pay for it. Both carries fall for ROTM as Fire, the big beneficiary, the counter pillar coming back out. But now Florida Tech can push with no Victor, no Ash on the map. They should get a couple of towers here, and now they get their first significant gold lead of the game. They're out to, 4,000. Will probably be about 5 to 6 by the time that this push finishes.
Yeah, they get to drop at least another tower in the bot lane and top lane. Not going to stick around for the inhib, which is
Revnon
probably
is
the right
threatening.
call.
He's got the ult available. If they have the follow up, they just don't have damage right now. It's Revnon, Firelight, and Bluxy.
There is a TP to come into this play, but it's on DTS, and he's still 10 seconds away as we speak. So it'd be a little bit of a tough ask for them to get down there in time. I like this path from Bluxy. He's going to try and find Potion Guy right here.
Yep, has the red smite plus the pillar. Potion Guy has nowhere to go, no ult, and Bluxy with a solo kill on the enemy jungler. I don't think he's going to get a whole lot more out of that, but feels good to take down the bear again.
I mean, you get to have the bear off map for another 40 seconds and reset your waves a little bit, but really that's just kind of a motivation play, momentum play.
Yeah, it does mean that there's really no push, and even some of these jungle camps can be threatened a little bit by RTM the next couple of seconds. I like they're using this opportunity. Firelight is in some dangerous territory right now, but he's getting some valuable words down.
Yeah, no, these are going to be really important pieces of vision if they stick around for a little while, because we've got the Baron coming up again in just over a minute and a half, so not all of these wards are going to be there, but that one control on the blue pit is nice.
Yeah, I like a lot of the caution being shown. You saw Pyramid Power go forward with the distortion, holding on to the ability to snap back, plus keeping Etchu just in range, just in case there was an Ash waiting in the Fog of Vision to try to pick off of that ward. This game is much more organized than most of the games we've been watching recently, so have to take a moment to appreciate some of it.
Definitely. It also gives me a bit less to talk about than I'm normally used to. Like there are points of analysis. I'm just not used to recognizing them at this level. Usually I get to spend my time pointing out things that the teams could be doing better.
Yeah, Splasher buys a Hex Drinker. I really like that, actually. And Bluxy finishes up his Spirit Visage, so the 100 to 0 threats should be lessened. Maybe Pyramid Power still has it. I don't want to doubt him at this point. He's proved me wrong time and time again, but this feels like maybe enough to keep everybody alive through one rotation. And this is spotted. Oh, the exhale,
Oh, the oh man,
the
the
hawk
tension.
shot, the Ash character coming through.
It is really an underrated tool to be able to toss out that all the time. Well, not all. I mean, it has an acceptable cooldown for how incredible of an ability it is.
Ooh, do they see that ward? Oh, they spotted it. That would have been a huge ward to have, but unfortunately spotted. You can see a lot of them starting to time out now as the Baron spawns for the third time this game. RTM getting some vision in over the wall, getting chunked through a little bit onto Dipinator. Ashult is going to land onto Etchu. Revnon goes in with the ult. They kite away. They take down Potion Guy first. Bluxy kites back. Etchu is separated from the team. He's going to fall. And now Fire has nowhere to run on the top side of this fight. They'll take down the Varus, and it's a big team fight win. Oh, can't lose Bluxy, but the heals from Firelight are huge. And now Bluxy chasing down. They wail away and not quite going to find the right LeBlanc at the end of that one. But the Baron should go the way of ROTM. That's a huge team fight win for them.
Yeah, massive. They get enough damage down while Revnon's ult had everybody up in the air that Potion Guy kind of doesn't matter. Like, he's still really useful for turning off towers and sieges, but in open fights like this, if he just continues jumping at Splasher with Firelight backing him up, he's just gonna die. Like, this Ashe has more than enough kill power to shred through a Volibear at this stage, especially one that's sitting on 06 and just finished his Zanya's Hourglass.
Yep, and now the battle for the Cloud Soul, Dragon number 7, spawning on the Rift. We get the maximum amount of elemental drakes. I don't know why we're watching Etchu right now. That's maybe not the most interesting character to be watching. But Dragon leashed out by ROTM. Pyramid Power and Dipinator waiting over the wall. Pyramid Power in, looking for the burst. Oh, that was so close! But he's going to fall. He hit his buttons in the wrong order, it looks like. He snapped back to the wrong clone. And instead, it's a shutdown for Bluxy. And that might be the key for ROTM to run down mid and end the game. They have the Cloud Soul now. They have the Baron buff. What can they do with it?
Yeah, and you can see there's no point in them splitting off at all. This is just a straight up 5 mid angle. You've got the man advantage. You just get to walk over and inhib here, maybe Nexus Towers. You don't really have anywhere else you can go, right? You have no waves. You didn't have the time to take up waves because it would have been a wasted opportunity. Yeah, they're going for the end here, and I'm not positive what they're supposed to do about this.
Yeah, Bluxy getting in, just getting some chomp down splasher into the Zanyas, trying to make sure that he doesn't die during the course of that Varus ultimate. Potion guy taken pretty low. One tower down. Bluxy starting to wail away on that second one, and now that they've got a minion in, it falls pretty quick. The Ash ult lands onto Dipinator. In comes Revnon with a big ultimate. 3 men get knocked into the sky, and now Potion guy on the back end will pick up Firelight, but that's not enough as the Nexus falls for game number 1. It was back and forth, but in the end, ROTM throws the haymaker at the end over the Cloud Dragon.
It really close game down to the wire. It felt like there were just a couple very minor mistakes that at this level just get capitalized on so easily.
All right, well, 1-0 for Return of the Middlesticks. They're on match point now, and we'll be right back with game number 2. Why do I have 7 messages? Blah. Bluxy. Oops. It's Bluxy, by the way.
All right, I will just file that back into the revamped pronunciation guide.
I was trying to wait for an invite before I left. All right, I'm gonna run to the bathroom real quick. You should have an invite. Okay. We finally got draft links. We did it. It's only been 900 years.
We're doing good. We're doing good. I like draft links. Draft links are helpful. We're not quite drafting yet, but that's okay. The links are what matter.
Maybe the draft will be as quick as it was last time. Or maybe they have more to think about after that last game that happened.
Maybe the real draft was the links we made along the way.
Draft Links are the company that makes that beef jerky, right?
I
I'm
don't
really
have anything
sorry
I can add to that. I'm signing off.
Yeah, I'm really sorry that everybody has to listen to me tonight. I don't know where my head's at.
Oh man.
Like, normally I would classify some of the things I would say as cringe, but we're on another level tonight, so.
Well, the problem is not that it's like cringe or not cringe. The problem is that you opened game 1 with game 5 second series energy.
Yeah, maybe that is the issue.
To be fair, I didn't give you much choice because that's also where I was at. So, all right. So far we've got some familiar
started
band faces that we're looking at. No Zinzao.
No Volibear, that's a different one.
That is new.
So we're not.
Which is interesting because the Volibear did not really have much game impact last game, but it is a switch of sides, so we have to see some other things, other factors. Trundle also off the board, so neither jungler are going to be returning to their picks.
Yep, our team not willing to take the bear pill this game. Instead, it'll take the horse. So Hecarim locked in. That feels like one of the next de facto best junglers. Like Zinzao gone, Hecarim's right there in terms of popularity right now. Gragas would be an interesting pick this early.
Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really show your hand, but it is definitely a unique enough character to warrant some conversation.
Yeah, it's flexible. You could play it theoretically top jungle support. You could technically play it mid, I guess, if you're that kind of person, but like...
If you're specifically Panunu.
Yeah, mostly top jungle support. But probably top, although it's picked right after the Hecarim, so you almost feel like it's the jungle counter into the Hecarim. And then they're going to go back to the Varus. No real issue with that. Fire played fine last game. I don't feel like he was, you know, the contributing factor to the loss or anything like that. I wouldn't honestly say it was any of the picks. It was more of the decision making and just the way some of the fights played out. But this feels very good. Splasher returning to the Ashe. He had a huge impact on that. You could really feel the trademark stamp of Splasher on the game because of that pick.
Yeah, having to have an answer to Arrow all the time almost feels like we're bound to return to a Tom Kench pick here for Florida Tech. We could see them go in a different direction, but it's not like it wasn't working last game.
Ooh, and the Akali locked in. Akali doesn't feel the greatest into Varus and Gragas. Those seem like two champions that have decent answers for Akali, but...
Yeah, like you're trying to
Akali's...
exist in Shroud and then Cask hits and you get knocked out of Shroud. Kinda sucks.
Yeah, so Ahri is going to be the pick for Pyramid Power, presumably. I don't think that champion flexes particularly well, so... I wonder if that's the direct answer into the Akali, or if that's just, you know, we're picking generic good mid laner.
I think honestly it could be either. The matchup into Akali isn't necessarily bad. You can charm her out of the E pretty easily when she's coming towards you, which is kind of helpful. It's a little bit more difficult to do that to either of the ultimates, but outside of that, it's a very blindable mid lane right now.
Yeah.
No anime sword protagonist, no TK, and a lack of healing in all forms.
Yeah, I think that that's kind of interesting. It feels like Florida Tech could have gone, if they wanted the Tom Kench, you take it R3 and then you can still ban the Soraka. There was such a good answer into it last game, but instead of going a different route, just going to take the Nautilus, be safe, and RTM. They got to hit their quantity of Freljord champions in their game. Nope, never mind. Shouldn't talk about Hovers or Bruno. And it's gonna be the Urgot locked in for Refnot.
I'm not gonna acknowledge that. I refuse.
Then acknowledge the giant enemy crab god that's happening in the top lane.
I actually am a huge fan of that. I think Urgot's an illegal character right now. Maybe for like one more patch only. It depends on whether or not you subscribe to the fact that Urgot's a healing champion or not. But I think it fits a lot with what Return of the Middlesticks are trying to do this game.
Yeah, and the Morgana locked in for Firelight. That's an interesting pick. To be sure, Nautilus actually has enough damage by himself to break through Black Shield. But it does expend all of his CC in the process. But it feels like a good answer into the Chain of Corruption and the Charm if you're very quick. And it's the Camille. So it was the Gragas jungle counter into the Hecarim. My hindsight casting skills upon reflection. Of course it was the Gragas answer into the Hecarim. But the Camille into Urgot matchup, that's one we haven't seen super much recently, but was a really fun matchup back in the day.
Yeah, and not a lot of the lane dynamics have changed either, really. So it should still be entertaining to watch and to analyze. It's not a particularly fun lane for the first few levels of it, but
basically Camille eats it until level 6.
Yeah,
or
pretty
around
much.
then, and then can start to fight back. But really, once you hit one item on both champions, the lane just like can flip on a knife's edge, and it's very entertaining. But yeah, not the most exciting early lane phase. But last game we saw Malphite into Jace, and neither one of them interacted with each other for the first, X amount of the game.
Yeah, definitely true. So this should have at least a little bit more action involved. And, the rest of these lanes are not particularly boring either. I mean, Ash Morgana's pretty staple. Like, you're not drafting Ash Morgana for the lane dominance. So, you can kind of call that one a wash because you wouldn't expect them to really be fighting that much unless... I mean, post 6 you can fight as much as you feel like fighting if you land a decent hook, but... Or you land a decent arrow, and you avoid getting hooked.
Do you think Potion Guy is... I don't want to say Gragas one trick, but like he drinks the potion, The potion is alcohol in this case, not that.
I thought about the connection, and then I thought I was reaching a little bit too far. But if we both see it, then I think it's possible, right? Like we haven't OPGG'd any of these people, obviously. But
maybe he means Potion Master Garen from back in the day.
Oh man. Oh, that was a build.
Shout out to CivHD. I think he still streams. I don't know for sure.
He does. He doesn't do League very often, which is fair.
Who does, really?
Not most of the old guard don't anymore. At least to the content creators, the professionals who basically sold their soul to the game will still stream it. But some of the best off-meta theme picks. I was still a huge fan of Counter Bruiser Lux top lane.
Yeah, that was a solid. I really liked the AP Zenzao song. That was one of my favorites.
Yeah, that one was good. What else did we have that was...
That was kind of the golden age of content creation for for League of Legends, unfortunately.
There was Wits in Braum mid. Huge fan of that.
I also liked when he played Karthus and Ashe on, like, at the same time. That one was pretty entertaining.
Me
Anyway,
and my duo partner still play the Hungry Ash games occasionally, where you pick LeBlanc Vigar and you just exclusively kill the enemy AD carry, don't allow them to farm.
sometimes you gotta really punish ADs for pretending like they're relevant.
True.
Oh, we have 3 more minutes to kill. This is game number 2 of a best of 3 quarterfinal series. Our team on match point. And now on the blue side, worth noting is that Florida Tech actually chose red side for this game, so they wanted their counter pick. They used it for the Camille in top lane. They got counterpicked last game in top lane by the Malphite that felt like it kind of swung the game anytime Revnon was involved on that Malphite. So maybe a little bit of the sauce in return here from Dipinator. Also, shoutouts to Florida Tech for having pretty entertaining names across the board. Like, they're not terrible to cast, and they're mildly entertaining.
Yeah, no, it is appreciated, genuinely.
Haven't really gotten into it, but pyramid power is in all caps, so that means that you're supposed to shout it. But for the sake of my wife sitting next to me, not going to do that every single time. But
That's a fair point. I wasn't really thinking about it. I don't plan to like work that in the way I'm working in the fact that it's Bluxy and not Bluxy, but it is worth pointing out. I think that's fair.
No, that was, some rules from my StarCraft casting days. If they're all in caps, you have to shout their name at least a couple of times. And then if it's rotating caps, you have to say it like you're having a stroke.
Oh, nice.
That one's not as common for some reason in League. I don't know why that never caught on the same way, because it felt like a lot of people had the rotating caps thing going on in StarCraft, because they were fashioned after the Brood War StarCraft players, and a lot of them had rotating caps for some reason. I think that was more just a style thing. But
yeah, no, there haven't been that many. I remember like the only reference to like naming conventions in League of Legends that I can think of is for a while. There was people would put AZ instead of in front of their names, like Asian warrior, Asian princess, and then Donkey commented on it.
Yeah,
like a very old video.
Yeah, there's a couple of so like Caps has the P capitalized right now and no other letters. I don't know why that is. And then like Pawn, which is a name that I'm dating myself even referencing, but the P and the N were capitalized, but not the A and W.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But yeah, not too many more. We killed this entire time talking about rotating caps, so that's nice.
I thought I seem to remember Prey having P and the Y capitalized. Maybe I'm projecting.
No, I think he did for a little bit, but then he stopped it after a certain point. I'm not really sure.
Yeah, I know he doesn't. I know the last time I watched him play, which was a while ago, but that wasn't true then. I think it used to be.
Yeah, more relevant to this game, DTS, not capitalized, but they're also his initials, which should be capitalized. That one's kind of a weird one to me. Oh, and of course this game, the glitch is back. Never mind, they didn't fix it. Riot, go back to work.
Man. It was nice to dream for a little while, though.
Alright, well, let me pull the client. That's not the right thing. Let me pull the overlay down below it. And then fix the scoreboard. I don't know what to do with this logo. Where is it going to be least annoying? We'll put it over here. Because I'm required by law to have the UML logo on there.
Reasonable.
Yeah. their media policy says that if you're going to stream, you have to have the unified logo and you have to have the league logo on there. I don't have the correct league logo, but I have an league logo, and for as much value as their TOs put into their league, that's probably good enough.
Yeah, I think that's reasonable.
They're apparently very good for scouting grounds and stuff, but they're we could talk a little bit about these mid-level leagues. Apparently, a lot of the people in UAL this year didn't know that there were going to be doubleheader days until the day after the doubleheader days.
Hmm.
So, also there's a team that has forfeited 5 weeks in a row that made the playoffs in UAL.
I've never been a particularly huge fan of of bracket setups that allow in basically everybody who signed up.
I don't think it did. They just won like 3 or 4 weeks in a row, and then they have forfeited a bunch of games now. And
Okay, that's kind of
they just
refuses to elaborate,
they just
leaves.
have, yeah. I'm not really sure. Um, there's some interesting stuff going on in UAL, but this is UML. This is much cleaner. Where the only thing that didn't make any sense was why Rodham got a buy in the first place, but we take those. I believe it went down to a coin flip, is what they officially said, and they just gave it to us. Um, I might have to go back and look at that one, but there were a lot of questions as to why RTM got the fourth buy because we didn't win our group. But level
Camille's
2 hit
having the
for
Camille experience in top lane, where you don't get to farm.
yeah,
Still had 0 CS until the waves hit tower, by the way. So
yeah. I think the only way to combat that is to start W, and even then that opens you up if Revdon wants to be very aggressive, he can like E in and flip you, and then you're in a world of trouble. And Dipinator didn't go flash, so um, yeah, this is unfortunately the Camille experience early on. Bottom lane, Firelight and Splasher pushed for level 2. Weren't able to make a whole lot out of it. They did get some damage onto Echu. And he went for the Glacial Augment on the Nautilus, which is kind of interesting. That kind of helps maybe apply some CC when you have one target black shielded. You can get the other target with the slow. I don't know that I see a huge advantage to that other than that, but there's the hook landing onto Firelight, going to blow the Ignite. He's very low and he falls to the Hail of Arrows for first blood.
oof. Playing with fire a little bit too much there, as it turns out. The flash and the heal not enough to save him.
I'm not acknowledging that one.
That's fair.
If you can opt out earlier, I can opt out of that one. Potion Guy is here looking for the counter gank. His Bluxy? God, that's gonna throw me. Bluxy is here in the top lane. Looking to make something happen for Revnon. Dipinator gonna go in, and they should definitely know that Potion Guy is here, but it might not matter. Dipinator, again, no flash, has no ability to get away from that. Revnon picks up the kill, and Potion Guy can do nothing but watch up there in the top lane.
Yeah, and just such an unfortunate timing for Dipnator to go in on that. Looks he was halfway through the recall, maybe a little bit more. Was definitely like actually going to complete it, and then lo and behold, you get a free angle and no flash. So
Yeah, DTS and Pyramid Power trading it out in the mid lane. Good trade for DTS, I think. Bluxy might have said that he was in the area and forced that trade out, but Pyramid Power didn't have the most mana to really fight back, so that's how we got to where we were. Meanwhile, Splasher and Firelight back to doing what they had started to do and shoving in this bottom lane. Potion Guy has path to that side, so this could be a little bit of a risk if he gets in over the wall.
in my defense, I restrained myself on that pun for the entirety of game one, actually. So I was waiting for the right moment. I think I timed it pretty well.
Yeah, no, that was it. It was high quality. I can admire it, but I also don't have to like it.
No, you don't. Definitely not.
Yeah, Dipinator's actually found himself with a little bit of space and time to farm up in this top lane, which is kind of interesting. Revnon has the full Caulfield's Warhammer um, advantage on him, but he's letting that wave kind of crash into him. It's hard as the Urgot not to shove because you have the shotgun knees that kind of auto push for you if you're not careful with them.
If you are a fan of shotgun knees, this character's pretty good right now.
Oh, binding not quite going to land on the potion guy. I don't know that it matters in the grand scheme of things. Teleport from Pyramid Power back to his mid tower. Firelight going to walk in and find potion guy. Hit him with the binding over the wall. Might as well. Get a little damage down. Even get the comet. They're actually still looking for this. Bluxy in. Just going to steal away some jungle camps. Ooh, even lands the binding. Into the Urgot ult. Oh, and you're in the grinder, brother. My wife hates when I say that one, but Revnon finds the kill. We'll restrain ourselves in the future, but you got to pull that one out.
I can appreciate that one. That's solid. I like that. I saw Revnon moving over, but I didn't actually recognize that he was already 6. I guess I should have expected that. All the solo lanes hit 6 quite a while back, so that's just a pretty heads-up play from Return of the Middlesticks. Actually, I like the fact that Firelight has recognized the ability to just impact the map wherever at this point, even though we're not. He didn't have Mobies before that play, did he? He backed
No,
and bought
he
Mobies.
backed and bought Mobies off of the
Yeah.
assist gold, I'm pretty sure. That might look really bad in retrospect. That might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure. Give it like an 80%. And that's better than normal, you know. Potion guy and Etchu gonna take advantage of the roams to the top side and look for that, but in the bottom lane, that's like 9 seconds of crowd control you can throw in. Really nicely timed Black Shield Splasher, still looking for it, but Potion guy is here after slaying the dragon. Not going to be able to get in range, doesn't have the ult for the explosive cask either, so just gonna walk on out. Splasher does have to expend both of his summoner spells, but the exhaust down off of fire as well.
For those of you who are bracket inclined in our audience, St. Peter's did just pick off Purdue, so
Oh no.
15 seed makes it into where this is the Elite Eight, right?
Yeah. Is that is it
Here
Yab?
we go.
I can't remember if it's Yabby or Vbon, but one of them picked St. Peter's to win the whole thing, and
Yep.
they just suddenly look like a genius after picking a 15 seed to win the fucking NCAA tournament. Um. Anyway, congratulations to the coin that he flipped. I'm pretty sure for all of his picks. It's Yabby. All right. Yeah, Yabby is just the god gamer somehow.
This feels like one of those tweets where
If
said
KU
the
gets
best
a
part.
yeah.
Oh man,
Oh man,
that is nice.
that's a dirty recall binding. They're gonna be able to finish off fire as blue. God, now that it's Bluxy. I don't know why I can't get that correct. I'm actually mad at myself now. Bluxy has to use the ult. It's a well-timed flash though from fire to get over the wall and somehow stay alive. I've just verbal diarrheaed all over everything. My bad.
But I mean, that's the funny is like I feel like Bluxy had a second in which he could have autoed and the auto would have followed through flash and we didn't quite get there. Or it was just really unlucky timing and Fire's flash is gonna get him out.
Revnon still has flash, but I don't know that he's. Yeah, he tries to use it just to gap close the opposite direction. He's got the ult available. If he can get it to proc, just not quite in time on the pull on the potion guy, and Dipinator and potion guy able to take him down. That was very close.
It was.
Binding there. Nah, they got a good logo. It wasn't a coin. It was logos. You just like the peacock logo? That's really interesting. Oh,
Are the relic shield stacks for Nautilus messed up for you at all?
no, he's got 3 of them, which feels like a lot.
Oh no,
but
it's not that. They're on my screen. They're floating about 6 feet to his left.
oh no, they're on him for me.
Interesting. Not not a huge fan of that. Thank you, Riot. Get back to work.
As the last I'll mention March Madness, at least during this game. If KU wins, I'm pretty sure that everybody else is still alive in the pool. If KU loses, I think Yabby might almost just win by default at this point. Like everybody else is just yeah, just a god gamer, honestly. All right,
No, what
1,000
I
gold lead
was
for RTM. Sorry, go ahead. I won't derail your point again.
I just remembered what I was going to say about it because it if it tracks. Uh, it's the same energy as that tweet where the one of the popular sports broadcasters said the best part about March Madness is watching all of the people who or all of the boys who care about college basketball lose to the girls who pick exclusively based on which team has the best mascot.
Yeah, this feels more wild than usual, um, for sure. If you're gonna win the pool, usually you just go chalk, but that's not working this year, so who knows what's gonna happen. It should be fun. It's been mildly entertaining to keep up with.
Speaking of mildly entertaining to keep up with, Revnon is really flexing the Urgot wins the matchup early card. Now up to level 9 for the top lane and still about 30 CS up, 2 kills. It's going fairly well.
Yeah, he's doing pretty well for himself, and maybe even more importantly is continuing to make Dipinator not do well for himself, having to really fight for his life up here in the top lane for every CS that he can get. Dipinator should start to turn this around once he finishes his Sunder in exchange. DTS gonna get charmed up. He still has the ult and his flash to try to get away. That was a really nice body slam from Potion Guy, but DTS can close on out. In comes Bluxy with Firelight and support. They'll take down Firelight to start off with as Fire collapses. Chu has the flash just in time as well, so a pick for Florida Tech. Oh, the Urgot ult just a little wide up on the top side. He was aiming for Chu, trying to pick him out of the crowd, and not quite able to find home on that ability.
Yeah, that was looked initially like a really strong play out of Return of the Middlesticks, but early stopwatch kind of good.
Yeah, I think the other issue is that it was just Bluxy and Firelight that were in together. DTS had to, completely evacuate because the Nautilus ultimate on him had used both parts of his ult, so not contributing damage. Splasher was down in the top lane, so it was essentially a 4v2, and they just didn't quite have enough burst. Fire, I don't know why he's here. It's not going great for him.
Well, at least he's out of the frying pan.
I'm nodding.
Y-
I
You can be upset at that one. That was low hanging fruit. Like that doesn't even hit the marker for quality. Actually, I'm a bit disappointed in myself.
um so we have, this is tangent. So I work in like pharmaceutical chemistry now. So all of our lab work has to be checked by our QA department. So um, probably need to submit that one. Just throw in that form. Make sure that they look that pwn over next time before you unleash that one on the world.
That's fair. Yeah, I I like the contextual setup for your burn and response.
Revnon is contextually burning down Dipinator with his shotgun knees, flashing forward even for the disdain. Doesn't even need the ult, just gonna rail through him with that railgun, and Revnon with the solo kill in the top lane.
Yeah, no, just flexing the muscles. It's not that they both don't have Divine Sunder. It's that Urgot can kind of just stay stuck to you, and if he does, you're gonna die. Like you don't get that many options for hit and running against Urgot if he flashes afterwards.
Firelight is so quick with these black shields. I'm very impressed. He has the non-boomer reflexes that I wish I didn't have. I'm not sure which part of the negative that is. DTS is going in. Oh, he's just able to get the kill and get out. The charm lands from Pyramid Power to equalize. Well, not equalize, but to pick up that kill in return. Bluxy over the wall, finish that one off. Firelight picks up that kill. Just the barest scrap of health for DTS is enough for him to hit that perfect execution and pick up 2.
Yeah, and that was a knife's edge type of play. I feel like this pick is working really well for Firelight. He's been so active on the map in the first 15 minutes of the game. He doesn't feel like we've had that much bot lane experience.
Yeah, if game 1 it felt like a lot of it was played around Splasher's ultimate. If he hadn't chanted Crystal Arrow up, there were things happening on the map. Um, but if it wasn't, the game kind of stalled out. This game, it's Firelight just roaming everywhere, making plays happen. Splasher's played kind of that secondary role. We've seen the Enchanted Crystal Arrow come out like twice now. I don't know that it's hit an important target during these fights. Not to flame him for his aim. One of them was like cross map and insane. The other one I just honestly didn't see, but it was on cooldown, so I know he used it. Um, but yeah, Firelight doing work. Picks up the Zanya's Hourglass as well, his reward for his 2 kills, so he can continue making the big plays.
Yeah, definitely. And we see once again, this time, not on a Soraka as a first item, but also not against a assassin as potent as 6-0 LeBlanc. Still the Zanya's Hourglass first, gonna continue being Morgana and doing Morgana things. It's a fairly staple item, but add it this quickly because 2, 2, and 2 has had so much game impact that gold not really an issue.
Yeah, and pinging out the Rift Herald, they have a pretty decent setup on that one. Revnon and Pyramid Power isolated, both with their unleashed teleports up in the bottom lane, so can join this fight. Arrow gonna just poke through Firelight, take away some of his move speed, but ROTM have really set up this Rift Herald, and that objective is theirs. Florida Tech, I think, doesn't want to walk into that pocket of vision, so gonna try to make a play on the other side of the map, and Revnon, well aware of his situation, has already started to back off. The Predator giving away Potion Guy had rotated over there, and nothing really happening for Florida Tech on the opposite side. Just gonna retake some control of this vision, and Echu gets pegged by the cross map arrow. Revnon will flip him over. Does he have the damage or the aim over the wall? Doesn't look like it. They're just gonna take that flash, which fair enough. 5 seconds to go before this dragon, and it should go to ROTM. We'll see if they want to play any little tricks here. They're going to go ahead and drop the Rift Herald. Oh, Pyramid Power, though, might have picked Firelight to start this one off. He's very low, and in comes Dipinator to finish off the kill. DTS buying a lot of time on the side, but gets spotted, and Fire picks him off with the arrow. Blixie goes in, but not quite enough. Double kill for the Varus, and Florida Tech has reset this fight completely. Revnon now in, gets the resets, gets some shotguns. He's got a double kill. He's trying to pick up Potion Guy. They finish him off. It's an ace. Splasher, melee range on the Ashe, and Revnon going in with the Urgot are enough to turn that back around for the ace for Return of the Middlesticks. The triple kill for Revnon.
Absolutely disgusting stuff. You think the fight's just over, right? You've lost 3 members, and then lo and behold, Crab. Oh, nice. This is a fun Elden Ring reference. Actually dates back way further than that, but
Yeah,
time for Crab.
Yeah.
It's time for Crab energy. It's also gonna net them an Infernal, so Infernal Soul, notably way more valuable than the last soul that we had. I feel like it's kind of always been that way. Infernal Soul is just Infernal Soul, like.
Whew. Well, 12-7 for Return of the Middlesticks. They've secured themselves a 7,000 gold advantage now, which is larger than I think the lead they had at any point in game number 1. And it's mostly off the back of that Crab up in the top lane. Revnon having just a great game. He's 3,000 gold singly ahead of Dipinator up there, and I was impressed with his Malphite in game 1, but this Urgot is even a level above that IMO.
Yeah, no, it's almost no misinputs from Revnon. Not that not that you're looking at something like mechanically inclined, but there are some like that, for example.
Yeah.
That's actually a great example of what I was hoping to highlight. There are some
caught,
interactions.
DTS is actually going to finish him off, and Now
Yeah, you
Remnon
can't be
looking for the
contesting
1v1,
vision like that.
flashes over the charm, and he hits the ultimate.
Oh my
Remnon with
lord.
the solo kill in the bottom lane. That was
It's
great.
here's a good comparison. Here's the comparison that I actually want. Uh, it's like watching Vbon play Ornn. Like every niche interaction that he knows about the character is on display.
DTS hitting the E, gonna go in. His mind was telling him no, but his body told him yes, unfortunately. Fire finishes him off. Casks Anyast away, but he's gonna still get rooted up. Firelight in trouble. Uses the Soul Shackle, and in comes Bluxy. They'll finish off two, and Fire in trouble now. The flash forward, they get him with the arrows, the double kill for Splasher at the end of that one, and just as the respawn timers hit for Etchu and Pyramid Power, now the rest of their team goes to the gray screen.
Yeah, and if it like it, I appreciate the fact that Florida Tech is not dying quietly. They are getting something back for the trouble that they're going to stay in this game, but it seems like every time they get an opening or a good pick opportunity, Return to Middlesticks is right there to capitalize it into even more kills for themselves.
Yeah, big bounties though on Revnon and Splasher now could maybe help swing the game back if you're looking for an in for Florida Tech, but it's starting to get a little out of hand. That's a 10,000 gold lead now at 22 minutes. ROTM setting up the Barons, setting up the pressure, turning on the screws, setting up the vision. It's getting a little bleak right now for the Florida Tech Panthers.
Yeah, it feels like the number of ways they have back into the game
Oh
is
my
steadily
god.
decreasing.
Just that one shotgun, he was like a quarter of his health. They're going to catch Revnon. That's a big shutdown, actually, that goes to Dipinator. He wanted to flex the damage, and I appreciate that. We got to see it on display. It'll open up some cross-map plays potential for RTM as Lexi just really hates that tower, I guess.
I mean, fair. Top lane inner tower is easily my least favorite tower in the game. So,
Yeah, why's that?
um, so as a top laner, after I very easily and without much effort 6-0 my lane and take first tower of the game, then I have to stay in top lane because the rest of the map is so far behind me, and I spend a lot of time dying trying
That
to
was
get
really clean by DTS. I'm sorry.
yeah. No,
I
it
I
really
appreciate
was.
the humor that's happening, but um, that
I
was really
see. I
nice.
didn't expect it to happen that quickly. Does he? Oh no.
No,
You
I
know, with
like.
hook down, it would have been really cool if he had done that, but
I
no
think
flash,
it's
no ult.
Yeah, I think it's still a little too risky. He might not have the damage. Plus, Fire has the exhaust, so the unfun interactive
It's a good
spell.
summoner spell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So probably right of DTS not to go in. Would love the montage for him, but you can't get them all. That kill was very nice, though. I liked how patient he was. He waited out the W, made sure that there were no tools available for Dipinator, and then it felt very hopeless for Dipinator the way that it was played by DTS. So, Dragon spawning. It's number 3 for ROTM, so this doesn't have to be contested by Florida Tech. Not the super high value dragon. Instead, it's just going to be a little lull here for the time being. Revnon accidentally taking the blast cone with his Gatling gun.
Uh, we just shoot things.
Indiscriminately, as it turns out. Well, not completely indiscriminately. You don't have to shoot your friends, which is nice.
No, not entirely, but close, close.
There was an ability that was bugged. I don't remember. It was quite a while ago, but you could kill your friends with it. That was like more so than like a Tom Kench, like eating them and taking them into the fountain. No, it was like a legitimately did damage to your ally. I don't remember what ability it was.
Yeah, I remember.
Well,
I
DTS is going to have
remember
to try
that
to
being a
1v2.
thing.
He's looking for Dipinator. He's found that. And he's looking for Potion Guy now at the end. Firelight, meanwhile, is just going to flash in for the Soul Shackle onto Fire. Bluxy gets exhausted, but now Splasher is here as he swoops in with the Gale Force. They'll trade 1-for-1, and the Ignite in the... It wasn't even Ignite. He just burned down to the... I have no
Red
idea.
buff.
It was dot damage because he died well behind the tower, but...
It was not red buff. It really looked like it was red buff though.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Either way, DTS got the kill, and that's the important thing.
I don't
Um,
understand. There shouldn't have been any dot. Now I gotta look at the runes. I hate it. Okay, there's no dot damage in the runes either.
yeah, I'm not 100% sure.
He died.
He just died.
He
He
died. It's fine.
ran out of health somehow. Unlucky.
The health bar hit 0. Ask no further questions.
Renata ult. Yeah, that was it. Um,
Yep. So, like, on a more legitimate note, this is absolutely far and away Return of the Middlesticks' game to lose. I feel like so many things have to go wrong in a row for Florida Tech to feel like this is in the realm of possibility again. With that said, not everybody's like super far behind, right?
mhm. Yeah,
Pyramid
you're.
Power is still putting in a fair amount of damage, like this build path actually, quite a bit. Fire's doing
Oh.
stuff. DTS is doing a lot of stuff.
Yeah, DTS trying to get the solo bolo onto
Wow, that was a
Dipinator again,
really
but
nice Hextech ultimatum.
yeah, got turned around again. Bluxy getting caught underneath the tower. This is, step one to things that could potentially go wrong for Return to the Middlesticks. Would really like to see them break open the base. Might not even need to fire. Pretty low, not quite going to die to the burn damage on the W, but will die to the Revenant ultimate from the side, as now he's making himself known. He'll take down Echu as well, and the rest of Florida Tech going to have to evacuate through the red side of their jungle. So the teleport in from Revnon, and now he didn't even teleport in, he just walked in from the side. Now he teleports up to the top lane just to put some more pressure onto this inhibitor. RTM now starting to chunk through some of the important base elements that are left on the map.
Yeah, and at this point, like, you need at least 3, or 4 if one of those 3 is Echu to even contest Revnon solo at this point. So, some of those picks were really well handled. Dipinator had a really nice dodge out of the perfect execution to cause DTS to fall, and then it felt like when they felt like they had an opening, Fire was leading the pack a little bit too much and got his health bar chunked out.
Yeah, Firelight's been super impressive with the Dark Bindings as well. He seems to be able to wind them on in there and find those key targets, and that's that was the difference in that last fight. This one is not particularly close, unfortunately. He did better than I thought he'd do with the about 60% of DTS's health, but he can zip on out of there. Solo kill for DTS.
Yeah, O to be a AD carry in 2022 farming side lanes.
Real magical time, to be sure. Dragon about to spawn in 10 seconds. That's the Infernal Soul, if RTM needed another prize at the end of everything. This game feels like it's about 10 minutes longer than it needs to be, but we're still increasing the gold count. 14,000 gold now. The advantage for ROTM.
We're just stat padding. It's probably fine.
Firelight sees
Dipinator
Dipinator.
not
Yeah,
entirely sure he's on a ward, and there it'll happen. Yep.
that's a bit of crowd control from the next zip code that they can throw on in there, and
I would say like that level of coordination is probably entirely unnecessary, but when you've got it and you can flex it, why not, right?
yeah. Baron. It's gonna die.
It is, and I don't think there's anything either Florida Tech or Baron himself can do about that.
Potion guy, not quite going to get in range. They're going to throw some bolts over the wall. A lot of bolts over the wall. They actually have enough damage just to kill him. That was... It felt like with as many abilities as Mist, you still shouldn't be able to kill him, but they definitely did. He is rather squishy. Has the Everfrost into the Zanya's Hourglass, so the more AP build than
Yeah,
tank. Yeah.
the Zanya's being the like only real defensive layer, so
Bluxy just showing off how many tower shots he can tank right now. That was 5. Um,
as one does.
yeah. This is all very by the books right now. Good dodge from Pyramid Power on that Enchanted Crystal Arrow. Binding gonna land underneath the tower at Chu with the defensive Nautilus ultimate. Not always a good sign when you have to use it that way. And Nexus Tower number 1 gonna fall. Revnon, there's no drama really left in this game. Revnon gets exhausted, able to get on out. Dipinator into the backline, but Splasher has the Zanya's Hourglass. They'll finish that one off as well. 2 kills for ROTM. And the flash forward from DTS into missing his abilities. Bluxy gets hooked in, but he's still got the Black Shield on him. DTS and Bluxy combine. They'll just snipe somebody off the fountain as well. 4 kills for RTM on that last little sequence. And the Nexus number 2. So ROTM with the 2-0 win advance to the next round of the UML playoffs. I didn't actually pull up the bracket to see who our possible opponents are. Let me do that really quick.
Really, a much cleaner game from Return of the Middlesticks this time around. The picks that were slightly less meta worked perfectly well for them. DTS had a good game mid, but Revnon really carried the day up at top lane. 11, 2, and 4 on this crab with a bunch of weapons in his inventory for all of the appendages to hold.
Well, so the next opponent has already been decided as Gothboy Clique has dispatched of their Radiance 2-0. So the rematch against the Goth Boys, that was a previously played matchup in the regular season. And actually all 3 of the 4 seeds from the group that ROTM was in are still alive, so that's pretty impressive. We'll see if Cafe 3 can complete the advance to the next round. But semifinal opponent next week, the Goth Boy Clique. That should be fun. I don't really know anything about them other than I recognize their name at this point. So,
Nice.
yeah. That's it for tonight. We have a playoff game tomorrow, but that's not going to be on a stream. Sunday is the Runeterra Academy Junior Division playoffs, which will have both series, kind of. We're going to bounce back and forth between them. Oath is back with me for that, so make sure to tune in. That's Sunday at 7 Central, of course, because that's all we care about here. And I think that does it.
True.
Anything I forgot?
Not off the top of my head. I love the playoff bounces that we get to do on Sundays. That's always a good time. So look forward to that. Join us back on the stream for that one. Come support the boys in the channel, and thank you for joining us.
Yeah, go watch Runeterra Academy. Bye.
Thanks.